Hello, this is Dunstan from How to Be a Young Entrepreneur, and today I'm going to talk to you about the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman. And so what is an entrepreneur anyway? What do they do? Where do they hang out? And how is that different from someone who's a businessman? Like, what's the difference? So, what do you think of when you think of a businessman? You might think of an image of someone in a suit with a suitcase, with a briefcase, going to work in the city, working in an office, something like that. And so I'm going to give you. I've just been brainstorming this one, thinking, well, what's the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur? So what I figured was, well, and I got my little list up here, so I'm just going to check back the things I've brainstormed. So, first of all, where does a businessman hang out? Where do they work? So they're probably going to work in an office. And where does an entrepreneur work? An entrepreneur works wherever they want to work. Probably somewhere where there's a Wi-Fi signal, or they might just be doing that from their mobile phone, connecting their laptop, in a cafe somewhere or on a beach somewhere. They might not even need to be online. They might be writing an ebook. Okay, so that's where they hang out. What do they wear? Well, an entrepreneur. Well, let's do the businessman first. The businessman's probably going to be wearing a suit, and it's probably going to be a standard kind of ordinary kind of looking suit. What does an entrepreneur wear? An entrepreneur wears whatever they want, pretty much. If they're going to meet with someone, they might dress up and wear a suit, maybe a little bit more flamboyant, a little bit more creative in their dress. They might be wearing jeans and t-shirt. They might just be wearing whatever they happen to be wearing, like I am right now. What hours do these people work? So a businessman is likely to be working 9 to 5, although chances are it's probably going to be more like 9 to 6 or possibly even 9 to 7 if they've got a big project on. They might be having to start early as well. So fixed hours. And what hours does an entrepreneur work? Well, an entrepreneur works when they want to. So that might be a difficult concept to get your head around, but an entrepreneur works at the times when they choose to. And, they might need to do something between 9 and 5 because that's when other people want to meet with them, but they're not bound to a particular schedule. They can really make their own schedule and make up one that works for them. So, for example, an entrepreneur might get up at 7, record some videos like I'm doing right now, maybe do some work on their ebook, answer a few emails, and they might decide to go kite surfing in the afternoon if the wind's good. Or if the wind's no good, they might stay and stay wherever they are and make some phone calls and speak to people, speak to potential clients, that kind of thing. So they have a lot of choice in all of those. So the entrepreneur, in summary, wears what they want, they work when they want, they work where they want, and they also work with people who they want to work with. So what is the aim? What's the person's primary aim? The businessman's probably got 2 key aims, and they are firstly to make money, and secondly probably to fit in and not to stand out too much. So to fit in with the crowd. And if you hang out by Central Station down here in Sydney, you'll see what I mean. Like everyone's an individual, but they're pretty much doing the same thing. They're all going off to work with their iPads, their iPhones, wearing a suit and going to an office. Okay, so they're all doing the same thing. I'm going to upset some people with this video, and that's okay. Anyway, what's an entrepreneur's aim? Well, an entrepreneur is looking for creative solutions to problems people might be having. So they want to help people in an innovative way, in a creative way, in a way that's not been done before. And I actually think about entrepreneurs as being like an artist for the 21st century. It's like an artist, a social artist, someone who does something to really help people. So, yeah, that could be someone who creates a website where people interact in different ways, maybe like a website where people can do car share or something like that, or a website where people can share their photos in a cool way. So that's the entrepreneur. They're really looking to solve people's problems in a creative way. What kind of values do they have? Well, kind of values a businessman would have was they'd probably want to be involved in something that's respectable. They'd want to be minimizing the risk. They'd probably be someone who values hard work, putting in the hours, and and fitting in to some extent. Like, each businessman's going to be doing something, or businesswoman's going to be doing something slightly different, but essentially they want to fit in, and they'll just want to be doing the same kind of things as other people, nothing too different. Now, an entrepreneur certainly may value some of those things, but much higher values for an entrepreneur are things like creativity, freedom, expressing an original idea, imagination and inspiration, being of service to people. Now you're going to say, yeah, but businessmen want to be of service to people too. But really, with an entrepreneur, it's about bringing all those things together, being of service in a new way, in an individual way, in a creative way. So individuality there is another value. All right, so the last category I've got for you is like how they work, like modus operandus, their mode of functioning, like how they'd go about something. So a businessman or an entrepreneur might start with an idea for a new venture. How would they go about that? So with a businessman, chances are what they're going to do is, first of all, go, okay, I've got a plan here. I need a plan. I need to make a business plan. And they'd write down, who the competition was, what their strengths and weaknesses were, and they'd write all these things down, do quite a bit of analysis and work it out, make a plan, and then they'd implement that plan, and then they'd review it. So it's a reasonably slow-moving process, especially to start with. An entrepreneur would look at it quite differently. Entrepreneur's motto is get started, take action, fail if you need to, but work it out as you go along. So try something. If it's not working, improve it, modify it, try again. And so the entrepreneur's way of learning is to get involved, get started, get their hands dirty, and go ahead and do it. And so I'm curious, what kind of person are you? Now, you may not be running a business or being an entrepreneur or a business person, but in life, how are you? Are you the kind of person who just wants to get started and get something going, and then you work it out as you go along? Or are you the kind of person who likes to plan it out all ahead of time? Are you someone who likes to be cautious and work out what the risks are before you go ahead, and that's your main motivation? Or are you someone who likes to take risks and likes to jump in and go ahead and just try something and see how it works out? So there's no right or wrong answers, but chances are you probably fit into one group or the other. And so this could give you an indication of whether you're the kind of person who could be an entrepreneur, or whether you're the kind of person who could be a businessman. And perhaps you'd be someone who doesn't want to do either. You might want to be a stay-at-home mum, or you might just want to work for someone else. And all those are good options. But I just love you to know that there's different options available and see what might be a good fit for you. So thank you for listening. This is Dunstan from howtobeayoungentrepreneur.com. Have an awesome day, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.